formal, by the way. You are live. There we go. And yes, we'll see some people popping on here pretty soon. So that is awesome. And today we have Melissa Dery. It's Dery. Am I saying it right? Dery?
Deary, yep.
Deary. Oh, which
Deary.
is it? It's
Deary.
Deary.
Right. Most people say Dery, but it's actually French, so it's Deary.
Deary. Oh,
yeah.
That's kind of neat though, because like little old ladies say Deary.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, Deary. Maybe I'm trying to remember it. I'm so bad with that kind of. If it's a variant at all, I'm so bad with that kind of thing.
Good.
Yeah, Deary. The reason I thought about Derry is because there's a town in our state. You're in my state.
That's correct. Yeah, look at my calendar, my map behind me. Yes.
Yeah. What's up in the corner on your screen is my little logo.
Captain Platinum, yes. That's
Isn't that cute?
I love
it. You know, that was a total mistake. Well, not a mistake, but a stumble on. Yeah. I love stuff like that. So yeah, when I was working for that title in my core company, they have a title at the top called Platinum. When I made it, I was kidding around and I had my Bitmoji and I had a cape on and I said, call me Captain Platinum. And it kind of stuck.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I still use it. So yay. But I had that artist draw that picture and I thought he gave me a nice rack.
You're right.
Yeah.
You gotta use them.
I'm like, yay! So speaking of nice racks, this is a bad lead in, isn't it? Really? We were talking. I know. Oh, did I mention that on this thing I'm pretty much inappropriate?
That's all
I'm
good.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
I'm good.
I'm not Howard Stern inappropriate. I'm somewhere in between. Yeah, I'm not that bad. No, right. I have been known to cleavage dance though. See, but other than that, that's as bad as it gets. Yeah. We were talking beforehand that our audience is actually a mix of people in direct sales, small business owners, and stuff. And you and I had a connection that we both had.
Yes.
And that's with Athena's Home Novelties. Yep. So tell me what you were going to say about that, and then I'll tell you my story too.
Well, my very, very first client when I started my business was with Athena's, and she hired me at the time to create her database of her inventory. And so I had her sheet of all her interestingly named products. And, a couple times I went, I think I know what that is, but I don't want to know what that is. So it was a very interesting way to get my foot in the door with my business.
And if you're unaware, I don't know another way to say this, but Athena's Home Athena's Home Products is Sex Toys Party Plan.
Right. Yep.
Which is awesome. I actually think that's genius because many people use that kind of product, but who wants to go in the store and buy it?
Right, and go to those really sneaky kind of stores,
Right. They don't have like classy stores doing that. So this is perfect. And then you actually, when you're in a home party situation, the other people also like those kind of things, so they could actually give you recommendations where at the store you're like pretty much not wanting to discuss it.
Don't talk to me, don't look at me. Don't make eye contact.
Right. So I got to so we got Cynthia and Kimberly and Tamara. Yay. I saw Cynthia and Kimberly this morning, but Tamara's new this afternoon. I also did some training this morning. And from Iowa, if you didn't go onto Facebook.com/StreamYard, we're not seeing your name. So there's a couple of people on, whoever it is from Iowa, hello, but I don't see your name yet. So you may want to go on there and give permission so I can see your name. Okay, so Athena's, it was so funny because I went to speak down there and I didn't bring my mom because I wasn't sure what it was going to be like, right? So I usually bring somebody when I'm speaking to sell my books in the back.
Right.
So I bring my nephew. And at the time, I think my nephew was 19, maybe 20. Right. So I thought certainly he's worldly enough, right? 19, 20-year-old. So we get on there. You'd think, right? You'd think. So I'm in the big white truck. That was back when I was driving around the big white truck. And you remember that? Yeah. And sitting in there collecting myself, because that's what I did before I had to go on for 2 hours of talking and just get my head together. Out comes my nephew, Mike. He said, oh my God, you are not going to believe what the speaker ahead of you was talking about.
Oh no.
I'm like, it's a sex toy company.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And he wouldn't even say it out loud. He went like this. And I said, Mike, I would have thought a worldly young gentleman like yourself would have heard of that word before.
Right. You didn't want to speak it. You didn't want to
No, he
invoke
wouldn't
the
even
word.
say it. It was hilarious. And so all the way home, he just kept going, my friends are never going to believe this. They're just never going to believe this. The whole way home. So I'm not sure if bringing him or my mother would have been different.
True, right?
But no, I think I love their company. Jennifer is awesome, the founder. She just did a big giant fundraiser, which I thought was spectacular. She spent all of these years, what is it, a dozen years probably, at least, collecting bras and then chained them all together to get in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
And she did it. She did it. And it was, of course, way more work than she was thinking.
Well, it usually is, right?
For a way longer time. Yeah. I just think it's awesome. So now let's get back to what we're supposed to be. Yeah, I'm bad about that. Squirrel. Yeah, right. So you helped her set up her original database?
Yes, yes. I mean, I've been in business for over 10 years. So when I was getting started, we were using Act, which I don't even know if it's around anymore, but she was looking for a way to manage her inventory. And so we were in a coaching group together, and she was willing enough, to let me be her be my first client. And we worked together great. And then just kind of sprung from there.
Now you specialize in direct sellers like me.
Yes, I do.
Right?
I do.
Yay.
Yes. Yes.
So is it a size or a size they want to be
That's
that
a great
you end
question.
up that they end up calling you?
There's usually a tipping point, and what I've found over the years is there's a big distinction from when you're a consultant to when you become a leader. And I don't think a lot of people really talk about how much your business changes, not just in the way that you work it, but in all the different activities that you have to do once you become a leader. You spend so much time getting to leadership by recruiting and doing bookings, and if you're in party plan, having parties. But then once you get there, you're not just in sales anymore, you're in leadership. And so you still have to have your hand in all those things. You still need to have parties and recruit, but now you have to lead your team. So there's kind of a sweet spot, and it's not generally the brand new leaders. It's the ones that are kind of maybe going for that next level of leadership, because now they're really ramping up, and now they're probably spending more time being a leader and less time in their business. But still, like I said, they got to have a foot in it, because if you're teaching it and sharing it, you got to know what it is. So it's not so much of the size. It's usually somewhere in that sweet spot where they're in leadership and they're really growing, and they're finding those activities are taking way more of their time than they need them to.
You know what's funny is, and for those of you who followed me along for a while, you've heard this before, so sorry. But I was not a delegating person and thought that somehow no one could do it as good as me. I had to get so over that, because I realized at some point there was no way that I was going to get six figures doing everything myself,
Right.
and give the level of service that's going to pay the best. I
Right.
think that's it. People don't realize there's a level of service that you need to provide for a team
Right.
if you want to get the most money. So what was the tipping point for me was oh, this is so crazy. I do award certificates. Matter of fact, I just came in from signing. I sign every day because I do ones for top sellers, top recruiters, and length of association. So I sign hundreds every month. And we decorate the envelopes because they're people from all over the country.
Yep.
And I know some people are never going to meet me in person, but I want them to feel like I appreciate them. So it's like applause on the front of the envelope is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking of it as.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we decorate it with markers and stuff and stamps and stickers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Somehow I convinced myself that I was the only one that could decorate an envelope.
Envelope.
And even saying it out loud, I realized how crazy that is.
Yeah.
So me now, and I train this too, is when you set stuff up for you to do every in my core company it's campaigns, which is 2 weeks. Some
Mhm.
people have monthly schedules, whatever schedule you're
Right.
on. I have tasks for
Mhm.
each period, and then I have who does the task.
Right.
So where a VA can help, in my opinion, is some of those tasks are
Mhm.
able to be done by someone else.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yep. And I can appreciate because it's hard. I mean, some of my clients in the past, I've actually handwritten thank you cards for some of my clients before,
yeah,
and it's hard. And they asked me respectfully to send them a sample of my handwriting, which was fine. But it's that somehow they're not going to know that I wrote it, but the message and the sentiment is still from you, the client. I'm facilitating it for you, getting it out rather than you spending all this time stressing. And I got to write 20 cards, send one email to me with all the messages and I handwrite them and send them to you. It's done. And then you can focus on the things that only you can do. That's probably the hardest part for leaders to let go of, is because you spend so much time hustling and grinding and getting to this spot, and then somehow it feels like, well, now I have to do it all myself, I have to hold on to it. But really, when you get to that mountaintop and you look around and go, okay, I can give this off and I can give this off, because you have to train your team, you have to recruit the people, you have to talk to your customers. A VA can't do that for you, but all the stuff that goes along with it totally can be delegated and should be delegated. It doesn't all have to be done by you.
yeah, and hopefully, if you're setting yourself up right, the person receiving doesn't even realize it's not you,
Right, right,
right? Yeah,
right. It's
and I
more
think
about actually getting it. It's more about actually getting done, in
right.
a timely manner. I mean, one of my clients is always very anxious about having the message be handwritten for her. She somehow still holds on. I've been working with her for 9 years. She'll still handwrite them, but I'll get it all to her. I'll create the fancy postcard and I'll get it to her, and she'll handwrite. I'll even create the address labels. I'll give her as much as I can to make it as easy as possible for her, but she feels the need to do it. And that's fine. I mean, when you delegate, you pick how much you want to let go of. And then often I find that my clients will then start to go, oh, I could have Melissa do that. Oh, I think I could have Melissa do that too. And then it gets easier, ripping that Band-Aid off and starting is always the hardest part. Once you start doing it, you realize the freedom it gives you and the ability to do more makes a huge difference.
And some of it too is like a team thing, because I know myself, the girls in the office run the reports and make the certificates and figure
Mm-hmm.
out who's supposed to get them.
Yeah.
And I still sign them all myself.
Mm-hmm.
And why it helps is because then two of us are spot checking the names.
Right. Right.
So rarely does something go out of here not right over that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of awesome too.
Definitely. And plus, you're still staying in touch. You'll want to see those reports because you want to know who in your team is
Right.
doing what. So that awareness is still important. Delegating isn't all or nothing. It's pieces. It's being strategic about what you delegate and the parts of it that you don't really necessarily have to do, or the things that cause you the most stress. Whatever that thing, if you go to sit down and go, oh, I have to send out my host coaching emails. Oh my gosh, they take so long. If it's a template and a format, that totally can be delegated. But then you can do the call with the host and say, I'm following up. You must have got my email. And then that's the part, that the core genius that only you can do, because you're the direct sales leader.
I am seeing you guys, by the way. Hi, Bonnie. Yay. And Susan from Pennsylvania. Yay. And Dana. Dana was on this morning. Sheila and Sandra was on this morning. So we got a crew. Our whole crew is on. But I think it's hard to get started. For some reason, there's guilt involved.
Definitely.
There's
Absolutely.
guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And I
mean,
don't know
we're women,
why.
we got to do it all, right? We're superheroes. We have to do
Oh,
everything, and we don't. We don't. It's okay to ask for help. And it doesn't always have to be that you have to go out and hire someone either. I got my start even before I became a VA. I was in direct sales. I love direct sales. I've been in so many different companies, and I was always much better at the behind the scenes thing than I was at the selling part. And in one of the companies that I was in, my director, kept asking me for help. Hey, could you create this flyer? Could you do that? And then sometimes I was just like, hey, I created this, I did this, I did that. And that's when I figured out, hey, this is what I'm really good at, and everyone else is really great at the direct sales part of it. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to let all of it go. It's, you can pick those things that, the point I was trying to make was that you can ask someone in your team. Sometimes there's people in your team that are really great at things, and you could maybe negotiate with them. If you're a leader and you have someone up and rising who's really great at social media or creating Canva graphics, leverage them and work that muscle a little bit. Get used to asking someone to help you and see how it works. Then you can, look to outsource. Once you get started, it's kind of addicting, and then you'll want to delegate everything.
Well, and I don't think it's revealed enough by top producers that they are getting help. They're either using family or their spouse. They're getting help if they're providing a level of service that they're getting paid at. They are getting help, and no one wants to talk about that. I don't know. I've been saying it, but one of the things that I am proudest of in the world is that I have an assistant that I've paid full time for the last 25 years. And in my little town, there's not a lot of work.
Right.
And she was driving bus before this. Oh, I can't even imagine doing that job. Can you?
No.
There would be fatalities. What are you doing?
Don't make me come back there.
Don't make me come back there, you 66 kids, right? Oh, there's no way. No. That's what, but my kid comes home and complains about the bus driver. I'm like, are you kidding me? We're lucky we can find someone that wants to deal with you wild monkeys. I'm like, no way. Hey, by the way, are your kids grown up?
Oh my gosh. Their birthdays are next month. They're going to be 19 and 21. 21.
Wow.
Yep.
So either one of them live home anymore?
They both do, yeah. So the 19-year-old is in his senior year of high school, and the 21-year-old is going into a senior year of college. I'm very proud. Wow. They're fantastic kids. Yeah.
Mine turns 16.
Oh yeah, I see you doing driver's ed. That's fun.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're driving up the school after I get off here because he's got play or something, whatever. Play rehearsal. He got a good part in the school play. It's awesome. Whether they do it in person or not. That whole thing is hard. Yeah. But that's his thing. Yay!
They have a thing.
Yeah. But I don't. Back to the whole delegating thing. I pretty much can guarantee that I've been getting paid six figures now since I don't even know how long, 1994. Wow. No, it'd be 95, six figures. It wouldn't happen if I hadn't gotten help.
That's right.
There's just no way. And I got help early, thank goodness.
Right.
Because it seems like you can do it all yourself.
Right.
But you just can't provide the level of service. And in direct sales and party plan, I think you have to spend your time acquiring new customers and team members.
That's right.
Because I think the attrition in direct sales, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your company is, no matter how good the products are, there's just a high attrition rate.
Sure, absolutely.
So you have to be putting them on. And I think the VA can help, or however you want to handle it. Delegating can help because you spend your time putting them on and they spend their time keeping them on.
That's right. Yes, that's a great way to put it. I like that. Yes, absolutely. The other really important part too is, to put systems in place. So even if you're just getting into that part of leadership and you don't feel that you can afford to hire out help, if you spend some time getting systems in place, that'll make a difference. The more you can streamline the things that you do, the more that'll save you time. And that'll help you delegate as well, because if you sit down at your desk and you start a timer and see how long it takes you to do any number of things, you'll then look back and realize, wow, that's an hour I spent creating a Canva image for a promotion that I could have made 10 phone calls and got bookings or made sales calls. You really have to, it's about getting to the value of your time and really focusing. I talk a lot about your core genius. What is it that you're really good at? And do you really need to be doing all these? They need to be done. They're important, but they don't necessarily need to be done by you. And when you can get to that sweet spot, that distinction, it makes things a lot easier. But sometimes it really takes, and I tell my clients when they come on, there's a learning curve. There's an adjustment period. I have to get used to how you work. You have to get used to how I work. I have to adapt to your style. It's always extremely important to me that anything that I do for you looks like it's coming from you. And figuring out how to communicate with each other takes a little time. So there's usually a good month or two to sort those things out. And you're getting used to it. You're getting used to, oh, let me hand these things off. And I always will send it back to you. Hey, does this look like you? Does this sound like you? And any really great VA will do that for you. It's not, when we say delegate, it's not just, here you go, I'm done. Let me know when it's done.
Well, and I think you have to be willing. That's one of my harder things to do, is you have to be willing to say, oh, I like that, but it's not what I was looking for. Right. You have to be able to say that, and you have to spot check just like you would with an employee. You have to make sure that it's getting done still. But it's certainly, yeah, Bonnie says, I agree. It's not socially accepted to talk about help or leadership requirements openly. And it's true. I think in the industry promotes being a big giant leader and says you won't have to have employees, that you can do it all on your own. But when you get help, it's tax deductible. The entire expense is tax deductible for a VA or for the employee is harder. That's why I wanted you to come on, because to me, if someone's going to dip their foot in the delegation pool, a VA is way smarter to start with. I only didn't do that because they didn't have them 25 years ago when I did that. So because I've had to pay way more, doing a VA sounds expensive to someone that doesn't have employees. Because they don't realize, as an employee, I'm not paying just hourly. I'm paying matching Social Security and taxes and insurance and whatever else benefits I'm paying.
Right.
So a VA, you're not doing that. You're just paying a hourly, right?
Right. Either an hourly or a retainer package. So you're really straight up paying for the service. You don't have, it's on the VA, where I'm a 1099 subcontractor. So there's that, rest of it's all on me. You're paying for my expertise and my time to get it done for you. So yes, if you look at hourly per hourly, a VA hourly rate will be more, but like you said, when you add all the other employee expenses and being an employer, it's about the same, or if not more. But you really get to worry less about the employee part of it. You're hiring a professional. If your car broke down, you probably wouldn't fix it yourself. If you had a toothache, you wouldn't fill your own tooth. You would go to a professional. A VA is really a professional.
We're singing out of the same hymnal. No, I don't know how many people suggested that I color my own hair. No, I don't drill my own teeth either. Yeah, there's so many things I do not do. Yeah. No, I think it's so important that people start moving in that direction if they either want to go full-time in this or earn six figures, even eventually to start and by the way, you can reach out to Melissa. This isn't necessarily an infomercial for Melissa, but she can help people all over the country.
Yes.
So don't worry, that you couldn't talk to her about it, because you can connect with her and talk to her about it. Absolutely. And she can tell you what you could, even just dip your toes in the pool.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I've just, I'll tell you how, what made me not feel bad about getting help. This is a weird thing too. When my kid was little, I brought him to a women's conference, and it was the Direct Selling Women's Alliance. Now it's the Direct Selling World Alliance, but it was the Women's Alliance, and it was Nikki, Nikki Keohoho.
Yes.
Her sister Connie is a big national director in, or was, I think she retired, big national director in Mary Kay.
Yes.
And she was giving a presentation, and she said, and it's funny that I'm taking her permission. She said, I'm giving you permission to delegate. Anything that she said, if I want flowers outside my house and I'm not into flowers, doing it myself, I pay somebody to do it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like genius.
Yeah.
And why I needed her permission, I'm not sure, but I did.
No,
And she gave it to me in a big speech to everybody. And I went home and I thought, oh my God, I'm never pushing that lawnmower ever again. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. It takes me 12 times longer because I don't like it. So I hire all that stuff. I don't even own a shovel. I have a service that comes in and does that because I don't like it. I'm not good at it, and it takes me forever to do it.
That's right. That's right. So, you hit on it. It's not good at it, and you don't want to do it. I mean, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with potential clients, and they just feel better just me telling them that. And I usually tell them, I kid you not, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with leaders who come to me and just feel guilty, and they feel ashamed that they're even having this conversation with me. And I always tell them, you're good. I talk to people like you all the time.
I'm laughing because I know the level of guiltness.
It's heartbreaking because, I wasn't great at direct sales. You're doing what I can't do. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell. I tried to get on the floor. I did it all. I've sold every kind of product you can imagine. When I realized what I'm really good at, and I remember my mother even said to me, isn't there someone that can tell you what you should be when you grow up? And I hired a coach and she helped me figure it out. Yes, you can do something. I can support the industry that I love, which is direct sales. I have such a sweet spot for it. My mother sold Tupperware for years. I can support that doing what I do best so that you can do what you do best. It's awesome when you can figure it out, and when you allow yourself permission. Let's all give ourselves permission to delegate anything. I mean, even if it's as little as having your children put your labels on your catalogs. I mean, there's some level of delegation that you can, and trust me, I'm a control freak. I get it. I get not wanting to let go of control. But when you start to do it and you start to feel the freedom that it gives you, oh my gosh, you'll be like, why didn't I do this sooner?
So true. Well, what I equate it to, the guilt feeling is, I hate the ones that mom shamed me, and I have so many stories of mom shaming, but they're like mom shaming me because I use daycare. I'm a single mom running a 6-figure business here. Of course I used daycare, right? And the reality is the kid doesn't even, I picked the best one I could, and they were very attentive and all that stuff. But the kid doesn't remember that. The kid doesn't even, no. As long as the kid was very good treated and spent the day with other kids having fun,
that's right.
I shouldn't feel guilty about that. But you'd be surprised how many people
I believe it.
Have mom shamed me over that. It's so funny. To me, it's actually the other way around. I wonder if you agree with me on this, but to me, I'm not doing the responsible thing if, as a single person, I can't pay all the bills anyway. That's right. Watching my child during the day for a few hours is a small price to pay, have somebody else to be able to support my child in the long run.
That's right. Yeah, right. So, yeah. No, you're not wrong. Do the best you can. I mean, I just asked my kids recently, I had worked full time before I had started my own business, and I asked them, I asked the almost 21-year-old, and I said, do you remember what it was like when I worked at work? Or, versus working home. He said, I just remember when you worked from home, we used to go to the pool and we used to have lunch on the porch. And, he doesn't remember anything bad about either. He just remembered that I was there, So being able to work from home and you have other benefits, you do the,
Right.
gosh, we're all doing the best we can
Right.
I mean, stop with the mom shame.
Oh, and you know what? I'm bad in the other direction though, because I'm probably mom shaming the other guys because I think everyone should have independent income of their own, enough to pay the bills in case
Sure.
the unforeseen happens. Because
Right.
the older I get, and actually I think I'm quite a bit older than you. Don't compare notes, but I'm pretty sure.
Our secret.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't even want to give you an idea because I know you can do math, but right. Um, but the older I get, I mean, not a week goes by where I don't hear some horror story. Either the husband died or ran off or whatever happened to him,
Sure.
and somebody's there trying to pay their own way. And
Yeah.
just the odds in are not in our favor as women.
Right.
We outlive the guys by 5 years just by the averages.
Right.
So I'm shame people that
Right.
aren't working towards being able to self-provide, or how else you want to put that,
Sure.
because I think it's so important. I've seen too many
Yeah. Right.
tragedies, I guess it is,
Yeah. Right.
people who immediately can't pay their bills. That's
Yeah.
so sad.
It is unfortunate. There's so many opportunities, whether it's, I mean, residual income is such a gift, so being able to find a way to, and, if nothing else, the pandemic has allowed so many more people to get online and to find easier ways to produce income, to make that, provide for themselves in the future. I mean, it's just, we're all online now. It's all there. There's so many, I mentioned before, there's so many new VAs out there wanting to get a shot at it. And, you have to be careful, but, there's nothing wrong with giving someone an opportunity, and you start off small. You start off with the things maybe that aren't directly client facing, but there are, I built a database. No one was going to see that but my client, when I first got started. I created newsletters getting started back when those were probably more popular. I've often, probably the biggest thing that I'm doing right now is one of my clients really wanted to start using text messaging as her in marketing. And she's not tech savvy at all. And so we tried one, we hated it, and we found another one and we loved it. So I went and learned how to use the program because that wasn't a good use of her time. She just knew she wanted to have the ability to do that. So I learned it. I used it. I showed her how to use it. And then she started telling her team. And then I said, can I offer to teach your team how to do this? So I've taught many people how to use this program. So it's been a win-win. They're all using this new software. I'm able to add a little extra income on the side teaching this. And, and she's using the program that she wanted to use all along. She didn't have to learn how to do any of it. So,
See, that's perfect.
it's
That's
excellent.
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Delegating work done right.
And that brings up a good point too, that there's a flood of new people being VAs, and make sure if you're going to dip your toe in the pool to seek out someone such as Melissa. And I've got her URL, by the way, in the scrolling bar at the bottom of the screen. Seek out someone who's been doing it for years and years, if not just for interview purposes, so you know the difference. I equate that to, when times get tough, every man in the world can be a roofer. They all go around and think they can just change people's roofs, even though they haven't done it before. Exactly. So it's the same kind of thing. This is a professional pursuit, and you have to be good at it. You can't just be someone who's been a secretary before.
That's right. It's not just about getting tasks done. And that's something that I pride myself on, is that when I work with my clients, we're collaborative partners. We're partners. You're not just giving me your to-do list. I'm helping you figure out what that to-do list should be, how we can improve it, how we can manage it, and so that, you can shift your focus. Sometimes I've had clients come to me, they have all these great ideas, kind of like the text messaging or a variety of things. You've had this great, you cannot figure out how to make this idea come to life. That's where a professional VA like myself can make that difference. Let's, create that whatever it is, and figure out the tools to do it. And that's where I spend my time. You spend your time learning how to recruit and about your products and your businesses. I spend my time figuring out what's the latest tools, what's the new way to get out there. What are other people in the industry doing? Those are the things that where I spend my time. That's in my wheelhouse.
As a matter of fact, if you're watching this and you're thinking, how am I going to deduct this off my taxes? That's one of those things you don't need to figure that out. You need to get your accountant to figure that out. Because matter of fact, I was using an accountant for years and years. I never did my own taxes. But I wasn't having them do the bookkeeping, which was a tactical error because I'm actually not good at that either.
Me either. That's the one thing I delegate my business. That was the first thing I delegated my business. Somebody else does my books, not a strength of mine.
No, and I'm so surprised how many independent representatives feel like they should do it themselves. And they need to seek out someone who actually does direct sales books because there's a lot of deductions that are specific to us that you would save their fee just having someone do that.
That's right.
So absolutely. and actually you probably could intervene between the person and their accountant if you needed to, like getting them what they need and stuff. Yeah, I've got audited like 3 times just because when you're a big producer in direct sales, you do. The first time I went myself, didn't tell the accountant, cried at the
that's a scary thing.
I cried at the audit from scariness, right?
Yeah.
That's sad when you cry at the audit. And I ended up owing like, I don't know, $800. And at that time I was driving the Yugo. Living in the trailer, 800 might as well have been 8 million. And they ended up garnishing my checking. So it was a horrible experience all the way around. The second time, I had a better relationship with the accountant. And I called her crying and said, oh God, here we go again. Is there something that you could help me? She said, I can do the whole thing. Nice. Just sign this little paper and we're good. I'm like, oh, you're kidding. Yeah. And so once that happened, then the third time I got the letter in the mail, I called the accountant and I said, hey, guess what you got to deal with now? And it was like stress-free. It was stress-free. And it was funny. The second time they did make me go in to make sure I was a real person, I guess. I don't know what that was about. But so I was sitting there, the examiner was sitting next to me and my accountant behind the table. He said, let's start by looking at whatever. And she said she had these stacks of papers and she said, do you want it in date order or thing order or this order? And she laid it all out. And he looked at me and went, ooh. And he said, I guess you can go, we're good. And I'm like, yay! I was never so happy.
I bet.
Yeah, so now, I just send my stuff over there and they deal with it. And the longer I've been with them, the more they know what deductions are what.
That's right.
So it's easier it gets. So I know a lot of people are thinking, I don't want to get that step. I don't need to go that. It's well worth the expense. I've saved so much money having somebody else do it.
As soon as I could afford it, I hired a bookkeeper and then I have my accountant figure. I haven't done my own taxes in years. No.
And it's a bookkeeping service, not your own employee.
No,
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I
do the little bare minimum, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna mess it up. I'll just give it.
I'm so good at this. That's why, my hairdresser, when they had it so they couldn't do hair, her actual salon is like in her basement because I live in a little bitty town. You know where I live.
I do.
And she called me up and she says, don't. I know you're thinking, but we'll figure this out because I don't want to have to fix what you're going to do.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
And I know the accountant feels the same way.
By hiring an amateur, right? You know how these things go, right?
The accountant feels the same way.
The really nice hat in the back of it's, pencil drawn, it's more expensive than hiring the wrong person for the job. Yeah.
The accountant and the bookkeeper feel the same way. She says, you're making notes on all of those things. I've been doing your thing for years. I know you don't need to do that. Just shove them in the envelope and get them over here. I don't need all the stuff. Save yourself.
Exactly. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Same thing. The more you work with someone, you develop that relationship. The less that like I said, the client I have 9 years. I often joke, I've got a decoder ring. Like I can decipher her cryptic messages. Sometimes I can't. I'm like, okay, let's try that again. What is it? For the most part, I know what she's looking for.
No, I think that's awesome. So Bonnie says, I agree. Oh, no, I read that one already. Somebody back a few minutes ago, matter of fact, I should have seen this earlier, said, what if they don't want to share their tips with you? It says Facebook user, I'm not able to see your name. Tell me more who you're talking, because I think I missed that. That must have been something we discussed. Who's sharing their tips with you? I think you might be talking about your upline, I think, maybe. But tell me what you're saying about that. Tamara says, I so need my CPA. Yeah. I think one of the things that here locally, I'm actually known for this, but people in direct sales on my team and stuff don't realize, but I'm known for having a team of people around me. That's just the way it is. I mean, I call the swarm, the guys that do that. It's one company that does both the landscaping and the snow removal. And I call the swarm because, I love that guy. I love that guy. So he shows up with the mower on the wagon, and he has a guy doing the weed whacker and somebody else. They just do it all, and they're done in 30 minutes, the swarm.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the plowing. They have the plow guy, the snow blow guy, and the shovel guy. They get out of the truck, and it's all done. And then I have the handyman guy.
Genius.
Well, and these things that I got done like that are the same as what you would be doing or any VA would be doing for the direct seller, because I don't want to have to worry about that. So like the swarm guy, when he came out to give me a quote, and the reason I switched to him, is because my landscape guy for the lawn and the snow guy were two different guys, and they fought each other. And the reason is because the plow guy would tear up the lawn. And then the landscape guy had to fix it. So this way, now it's the same guy. So he don't usually tear the lawn up because he don't want to have to fix it. So I called him, but he was funny. He said, I was already well into delegating by now. So he said to me, are you going to call me when you want to have your thing plowed and all that, and or mowed? And I said, no, I think you're confused on this. What I want to do is write you a check. So what I want you to sit home and say is, does she need to be plowed to be able to get out that driveway? Does she need to be mowed so no one will think the house is abandoned? I mean, I want you treating this house like your house, is what I said to him. So if you think I need to be sanded, sand me. And invoice me on PayPal. I will pay it immediately.
That's right.
So that's how we're doing it. And I love it. And he likes it too, because he has more freedom. I'm letting him do his work. And he feels free to suggest stuff. Like I needed some brush down, and he offered, and I said, oh yes, absolutely. So okay, let's Claudia's on here. Says, hi Lisa, it's Claudia. I had a question in regards to the conversation to reaching out to your team for help. What if they decide not to help you because they find you competitive to them? It's hard finding people that will show you how to do things but are stingy with help. Well, you can pay someone to help you. So I don't necessarily shame people that don't want to help me for free. That's okay. There's plenty of people that will help you that aren't free, but also don't be afraid to pay for it, because when someone is helping you, it does cost them money, because time is the most important or the biggest asset any of us have, in my opinion. So I don't think I would feel bad about a person who wasn't willing to help me for free. Whether they were on my team or not, I wouldn't feel bad about that. To me, the best I can do is set a good example. So if I help people, whether or not I get paid, lots of times I attract other people that help people whether or not they get paid. So I think it has to start with you, really. You have to be willing to help without necessarily getting paid, and they will usually too.
Right.
So does that make sense to you, Claudia?
And
So
sometimes it's, sometimes, it's looking up, you're looking up your upline to see what they're offering, and look down to reach a hand up. So sometimes if there's someone in your team, like I was, I was in, my director looked down and saw I was kind of struggling in sales, but I was already doing these things. I mean, if your team is really wide, chances are there may be someone that has that skill. And there is a distinction between asking for free, can you give me a tip, versus will you, create this Excel spreadsheet for me, so you want to be careful when you're asking for someone to help you. I mean, tips are one thing, but actually doing the work, yes, you'll want to pay them or look for a professional that can do it. But if you're having team meetings and you need some help posting things, or if the sales come out from your back office and someone's always great at grabbing it and posting it, those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about, reaching out to someone in your team for. There's usually some other people that can help you with those things. There's usually, we all got the cheerleaders on our team that want to help out. And so, reaching out to them and saying, hey, would you mind posting those? If you're already going in and grabbing it, can you post those in the group? Do you mind, I'm stuck on this formula in a spreadsheet. I know you're great at it. Do you mind? And then when you start doing that and you start figuring out, boy, people are great at helping, it helps when I ask for help. Maybe I should look for a professional. There's a getting used to doing that, and definitely not taking advantage of someone on your downline. I hope that helps as well.
Well, and downline team members too, I think too many people get stuck in the mindset of they need to see interaction from them with you. Mm-hmm. And that's not necessarily the case. Mm-hmm. I provide service and ideas and stuff like that different ways, whether it's cards or email or on the group page. And I send out certificates all the time and stuff. But interaction isn't necessary. It's not their responsibility to interact with me, is how I look at it.
Right.
So I don't necessarily, you know what I mean? I ask people to help as like trying to include them, to get them included. Right. But I don't necessarily expect for them to participate. I don't expect for them to give me feedback. Like on the certificates, I don't expect for them to thank me, because it's not their job to be thankful that I recognize their awesome performance. It's my job to recognize their awesome performance. But I'm surprised how many people feel like they need to have validation for the work they're doing with their team. In reality, that's not necessarily going to happen. Right. The validation's your check. Yeah. Exactly. That's it. Right. So, that's right. Yeah. And sometimes you do stuff or your VA does stuff, and for years, and you don't necessarily realize how much of an impact it's making. And I'm thinking of my team member Dawn, who it's not her responsibility that I knew what was going on, but I didn't realize that she was saving her certificates because she must have felt good about them. But she recently posted a picture, and she's got hundreds. She's been a top performer for at least a decade, probably more than that. She's got hundreds. She took a picture of them all over her bed.
That's terrific.
Yeah. And I run across that a lot, and I'm glad that I never thought it was their obligation to validate my service. To me, it's I'm supposed to be giving a service. The validation's my pay. Mm-hmm. So I don't look at the person for validation.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Claudia said it does help. Thank you. I don't mind paying for help. I'm all for it.
Yep.
So, yeah. And I think and I don't want to say it being negative, but lower your expectations about the team members having to either interact, or the ones that want to will, and they'll get something from it, and the ones that want to say something will. So it's just not their obligation. Right. It's our responsibility to serve them. It's not their responsibility to have a reaction. Have a reaction to the service. Isn't that an odd thing to say? You find that to be true, though?
Yeah, I mean, if you put a lot of expectations on the result, then you're kind of missing the point. It's about doing the service and providing the leadership and giving it to them so that they can take what they need for it. People will forget what you say, but they'll remember how you make them feel. So if you're doing your job and making them feel great and good about what they're doing, yeah, the thanks is in, you said your paycheck. It's a perfect way to explain it.
Right.
If you're doing it
And you
right,
don't
your team is staying with you, and yeah, you're doing it right.
and you don't always know. That's just the way it is.
No.
I've been to someone else's house. Matter of fact, my BFF, Erica, she had a whole bunch of certificates that I sent on the wall framed.
Mm,
And it was awesome, but I had no
yeah,
idea that she even liked them.
that's
And
right. Yeah, probably until if
yeah,
you stop sending them, then all of a sudden it's like, wait, how come I didn't get that? The fastest way
right,
to find out if someone likes what you're doing, stop doing it, and then see how
right.
many people go, what happened? Where did it go?
Don't really stop. No, it's funny. It's I think that it's funny how many there's just some of these are like my pet peeves about like the not getting help thing. It's a pet
Yeah,
peeve of
right.
mine. And a lot of people do things where a VA too can help you is the consistency of it all. I was saying that on the Zoom call this morning. We do send out cards training, and
Mhm.
I've done that sent out cards for 12 years. I've sent over 65,000
Yep.
cards in 12 years
Mhm.
because I knew that I couldn't be the smartest. I'm not the prettiest. It's not that I'm a troll. I get that, but I know I can't be the prettiest or the smartest or the most educated, whatever. I can be the most consistent because that I have control over.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
right. So that's why that, and this is the same kind of thing. If you're consistently trying to find other people to do the tasks for you,
right.
and
Right.
consistently. So I guess what I'm saying is try to find somebody like Melissa, even Melissa herself. Reach out to her and see if you can't find some things that you do today that she could do for
Yep.
you, even
And
if it's a little bit at a time.
yeah, and I will say I've noticed there's been a somewhat of a shift in the VA industry, and you may find they still exist, but a lot of VAs are specializing now. So you may find a VA that specializes in social media marketing. I've just discovered recently there are VAs that just do Pinterest marketing. So Pinterest is, yeah, there's
Oh,
VAs that
wow.
specialize in that. Facebook ads, Instagram. I mean, that's all social media stuff. But what I'm telling you is, even if there's just one thing that you really want to focus on, chances are there's a VA that specializes in just that. And so you can get that one thing. Don't feel like you have to have someone that does everything for you. I mean, the client I've had for 9 years, yes, I'm in all parts of her business, but we've been together for a very long time. A lot of what I'm doing now for taking on clients is very specific like that, is this text messaging service, creating Canva graphics, doing recognition. Those are the areas that I'm focused on helping clients. But if you can develop a relationship, even if you get one of these newer VAs that are up and coming and you grow together, and they'll stay with you. I was with my client from the beginning. We started with newsletters, and now I can't even tell you the things that I do for her, but it's building that relationship. It's developing that over time. So even if you just pick that one area of your business and find a VA that specializes in, even if it's just getting a bookkeeper, the sooner you delegate, the more you can do it. And don't delay. Don't start delegating.
You know what's funny too is, and I know a lot of people do this too, including me, but I dabble in designing my own stuff because I do it on the cards and stuff like
Yes.
that. So scarily, I somehow get in my head that I can do bigger stuff, and I really shouldn't do bigger stuff. So I used to. I'm known for having my car wrapped with a design on
Yes.
it. I used to go in there with that all figured out. And
Mm-hmm.
then I realized that was crazy talking
Yeah.
because I didn't go to work for graphic design. I don't know. The thing I'm good at is marketing. So
Mhm.
my marketing knowledge or whatever, and his graphic design,
Yeah.
we work together. And now I let him do his job.
Right.
So I go in there and I say, I want the overall theme is red. And
Yep.
matter of fact, on this one, I said shameless hussy red What I want is shameless hussy red. I don't want brick red. I don't want like I want not fire engine red. It's shameless hussy red I want. So I said red and with lipsticks, and I need it big. So when I went back in, and you actually at Fast Signs anyway, the design is part of the fee you pay. So even when you bring in your own design, it doesn't matter. You're still paying for it. So why wouldn't I let the professional do it?
Sure.
And for some reason, it was like I was shamed. I felt shamed that I wasn't doing it myself. But to me now, I let them do their job.
Right.
I'm not good enough at that I should be thinking I could do that.
Sure.
He does it every day of the week. So now he gives me back his thing, and I look at it from my marketing point of view.
Sure.
So like I said to him, the word on the front's got to be much bigger. And he said, I don't think it looks as even big. I said, it doesn't matter. It needs to be big. That's just the way that is. Sorry. Make it bigger. Yeah. Go big or go home. So, and once it got done, he was like, oh, yeah, you got a point there. Because to me,
collaborating.
Yeah. But I think I have to release the stuff that I'm not trained in or professional at. And that I was already paying for.
Yeah, right. That's the kicker right there. Is you're already paying for it, and you're trying to do it yourself. Yeah.
So when you're dealing when you're dealing with someone like a VA, like you are, when you give them a project too, you've got to take on board what they say is like the standard or whatever too.
Sure, right. Then when it comes down to it, if you want it bigger on the front, we'll put it bigger on the front. I'll give you what I think. And then I had a client, we were creating thank you graphics for everyone that placed an order in her Facebook group. So I would look for the products, I would create, and I'm like, okay, I'm only doing a couple. I want to make sure this is what you like. She's like, oh my gosh, these are way better than anything I would have done. And so I just made them all. But yeah, if you hate the color red or purple or whatever, feedback is important. Don't be afraid to say, this isn't what I want. I want the font bigger on the front, or that's not the right shade of red. We're not the end all be all. It's still, like I've said before, it's your voice, it's your product, it's your image. It's important that this complements it. It's not the golden rule of VA selling your product. It's you. I'm just behind the scenes pushing it out there for you, making it look good.
So I think that the two things are, you have to be willing to let go and let the professional do it, and then be willing to say any tweaks that you want without micromanaging.
That's right.
Let them do it without, So like, I don't go out in the office and go, you know what, you really need to put that rubber stamp here instead of here. No, I try to, matter of fact, it's funny, my mom was the worst one about, she'd go out there and try to tell them what order to do a mailing. I said, Ma, I said, there are so few benefits to working for me. But one of them is freedom of autonomy or whatever it is. I said, when I say this is what I want it to look like at the end, you figure out how you want to do it. That is actually a benefit of working for me, because I'm not micromanaging how you set your desk up or something. And she said, but this is faster. Yep, not my problem. No, however they are most comfortable doing it is how it should be done. Because and over time they've changed different ways and done it different ways. Because that's how all of us work. But
that's right.
I think having the freedom.
You don't need to know how the sausage is made, just that the sausage is made.
We don't want to know what's in the sausage.
No, but it's delicious when they're done.
My kid's hilarious. He's got a thing about not hot dogs, because he thinks there's, I don't know, monkey meat in them or some crazy thing. Right. But he'll eat kielbasa. I didn't tell him. Right. No, I didn't tell him. Hey, do you have any pets right now? Pets?
Nope, 2 boys, that's it.
How did you manage that? I got a zoo going on.
Yeah, no, I have allergies, so no.
Oh, I got a zoo over here. Look at this lazy bum.
Oh.
Yeah, he's out cold. Yeah. We were out already this morning. Yeah, I bet you didn't see that coming if you knew me at all. The dog thing. I have.
Yeah, the dog is good. I know you had Greg build you all those great
the cat things.
Cats. I know Greg very well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then nobody saw the dog coming. That was a total
Yeah.
out of the blue. And now we've had him almost a year. It'd be a year, and I think it was May 5th or something.
Mm.
So, yeah, that was a. Yeah, I think that was everybody else got a dog during the
Yeah, yeah.
shutdown too.
Well, when you live where you do, you kind of are you allowed to live in that town without a dog?
You have to have a dog, a shotgun, and a pickup truck, really, to
Yeah,
live.
right? List complete. You're official.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know exactly where I live. Yes, yeah. We do come down to civilization once in a while. We're down off the mountain. That's what I say when I go to the Bedford. If they say something about how much groceries I'm buying, I'm like, we only come in town once every so often. You
As the crow
know,
flies.
come down off the mountain. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I like to go to that well, I love hate the market basket because if I want to find something in particular, forget it.
Right.
But it's a lot of stuff and it's kind of fun that way.
Yeah.
I was actually using, the Hannaford near there in Pinardville,
Yeah.
the Hannaford. I was using that because I was getting pickup because I
Mm.
delegate. I was getting pickup. And it's funny when they did the quarantine thing, the shutdown, they actually stopped doing it,
Oh my gosh.
which is crazy. That's
Yeah,
the
right.
opposite. They said they needed those people to stock. And
Um,
it's like you're doing the opposite of what you
right.
should have done.
Doing,
So
having
then
a
I got Yeah, so then I got out of the habit of doing it and I'm still down at Market Basket. And I
oh,
wonder how many of us there were that had happened to.
yeah, yeah. I made the switch too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was pretty regular doing the pickup thing. That was
Mm.
awesome.
Mm.
So I think that the whole delegating thing was the theme for today.
That's right.
You know?
Don't get it
Yeah,
all.
yeah, really. The picking up the groceries is an awesome thing too. They don't
Yeah.
have that at Market Basket, but yeah, I might have to rethink that. Although the store now, what I do, and that's tonight too. Everybody that usually does follow me on Monday knows where this is going. So the kid has acting class at Bedford Youth
Mm.
Performing
Oh, yeah.
Company, BYPC,
Yep.
which isn't far. And I drop off there at 7 on the nose,
Mm-hmm.
and Market Basket closes at 8.
Yep. There you
So I got
go.
to get over there, get our stuff, and I have the my stuff and Grammy's. So it's like it's a scavenger hunt, and Grammy always wants something different. So it's like, yeah, she right. She's feeding her cat tuna
Oh
and
boy.
whipped cream. Yeah, she said the cat's very picky. I go over there. I hadn't seen her cat in a while. I go over there. The cat's round like a pig. I know. I'm like, oh, Grammy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the cat don't look too picky.
Right. Quite the
Oh,
opposite.
oh, glory. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up for today. You stay on if you don't mind.
Terrific.
And
Sure.
M- Melissa's contact information is right there, thegoldenruleva.com. Make sure you reach out, even if you're not at the point where you want to do something yet. Reach out so you can start talking about it with her or whoever you pick. At least interview her because so many people tell me they want to get to a higher amount of earnings. This is how you do it,
Yep.
delegating your other stuff so that you can concentrate on acquiring team members and customers.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
well, thank you very much.
Well,
And
thank you.
just one second.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.